Hi, everyone. Welcome to week 2 of our 8-week course. I just wanted to kind of go through a quick reminder of what you're responsible for this week. So, just to refresh your memory, last week was kind of a getting to know you week. You shared a little bit about yourself, and you did the dream job activity. That assignment is really get meant to kind of get you to start thinking about what you'd like to do without worrying about outside influence. So sometimes we make decisions based off what other people might think or what society might think. It's kind of fun to just do that activity because it gets you to start thinking about, okay, what would I really like to do if money didn't matter and time didn't matter? And so the second week, we are going to be talking about the career decision-making process, which, I always like to ask students like, oh, how did you decide your major? Um, and it's kind of a very varied responses, but the appropriate way that we recommend that students decide a major is going through first to kind of like 4 steps, which I'll talk about this week, but self-assessment first, which is looking at ourselves. What are our skills? What are our values? What are our strengths? What are we good at? Um, and um, that's what we're going to be doing actually the next couple of weeks is doing some career assessments that do that. And then, the rest of that process is kind of what the rest of our class is going to look like. So once we gather that information, then we have some potential careers based off what we like and we're good at. And then we want to weigh the pros and cons. And then we do that by doing research. How much money will it take? How much time will it take? And then sampling some things out, right? So we don't want to like fully decide a career until we try something out, right? Take a class, do an internship, volunteer. That's really how we make a decision we're confident in. So that's what we'll talk about this week. And this week, just to share my screen, there's a couple things that you're responsible for. So let me share my screen. So this week, you're responsible for 2 things. First is the video review and discussion where you're going to watch the college decision making and success in the new economy videos that I have here. One's 5 minutes, the other one's like I think like 10 minutes long or something. So I want you to watch both of these videos. And then you'll respond to this week's discussion. Your initial post is due by Thursday and you need to at midnight, and you need to respond to 2 classmates' posts by Sunday at midnight. And then the other thing you're responsible for is that taking the Myers-Briggs and Strong Interest Assessment. So kind of like I mentioned, self-assessment is how we are going to make a decision about really looking at ourselves. So that's what we're going to spend the next like 4 weeks on these 2 assessments. So if you click on here, there's a link that says click here to take the assessments. When you click on this link, it's going to take you to this website where you create an account and you're going to take 2 assessments. You're going to take one is called the Myers-Briggs assessment. That assessment is 93 questions and it's situational questions. It's going to take you about 45 minutes to complete both assessments, but the Myers-Briggs assessment, it's like 93 questions that are situational based. So for example, the first question is going to be something like, if you were going to go somewhere for the day, would you rather plan or would you rather just go? And you kind of want to respond based off your first instinct. Or if I was going to make a decision, would I want to make decisions with my head and logic or with my heart and what feels right? And they're pairs of opposites on purpose. So you want to kind of go with your first instinct when you're taking that one. When you're taking the strong interest inventory, it's like 270 something questions. Those are questions about your interests. So it's going to give you like a career or a major, and you're going to rank on a scale from strongly like to strongly dislike how much you might like a career. So, for example, it might say accountant, you want to rank how much you might strongly like or strongly dislike the job of being an accountant. Don't think about, do I have the ability to do that? Think about, would I like that type of work? And if you don't know an occupation, like let's say it's like actuary and you have no idea what an actuary does, you can just like Google it and like read about what it is and then answer the question. But I have a feeling most occupations you'll be familiar with. Anyways, that's all you're responsible for week 2. So the weekly discussion and then completing the Myers-Briggs and Strong Interest Inventory assessments by Sunday at midnight. I hope you all have a wonderful week and let me know if you have any questions.